Hello, my name is Tanis and welcome to my podcast, which is called Tanis Makes Stuff. This is episode 5. I've not done one of these since November, I think. No real reason other than the light's been bad and my laptop was a bit iffy. Now I've bought a new tablet, so I think we're ready to go again. This time I don't have any finished objects. I've got things that I'm in the middle of making, and I've got things that I'm thinking about making. But this year I've got an awful lot of whips. I think I said this before. If you're someone who gets stressed out by lots of projects and nothing getting finished, I might not be the woman for you, because I very rarely finish anything. But having said that, I've decided this year is the year I'm going to get my act together and actually finish things, because I made this last year. That's the last Stephen West MCAL. That's Twists and Turns, and it is such a nice feeling to actually finish something that I thought, do you know, I might actually just behave this year and actually get some stuff done. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be casting on everything I feel like casting on, because I feel as well that, you know, why deny yourself a bit of harmless enjoyment? So that's what I'm going to do. It's not the greatest plan. It's not, you know, I'm not going to find world peace or cures for horrible diseases, but it's just something I like to have, some sort of theme for the year. And I feel like 2023, I don't know why, but I've just got this feeling that 2023 is going to be a real creative year. I've just decided that it's going to be my year, that I just follow whatever creative path occurs to me and just see where it takes us. And it doesn't have to take us anywhere other than really just enjoyment. Please excuse if my eye line is a bit off, because like I say, it's a new tablet. I'm really happy with it, but I've had to put a little sticker on my screen to remind me where I'm supposed to be looking, and it's really hard not to just look at yourself, which is not always a treat. Sometimes you're better off, yeah, I think you're better off just looking at a black dot sometimes, because it can be quite distracting when you realise, I don't know, that your makeup's gone squiffy or whatever. So let's dive in. I've got quite a few books that I've read since November. I'm not going to wang on about them too much, in case people find that boring. So I know that traditionally the way that people do podcasts is they show you your whips, their acquisitions, their finished objects, all sort of, you know, in blocks. But I'm just gonna kind of go where fancy takes me, much like I'm going to treat this whole year. So let's start off with, in case you didn't know, I have an Etsy shop called Gin Poodle. While this isn't a selling channel, I am going to show you the odd thing that I've made. And what I mainly make are what I'm wearing. These 1940s style, vintage style hairnets, called snoods. I don't believe a snood is something you wear around your neck. I think that's called a cowl. But let's not start the year with being too pedantic. So, black ones. I've got the full set of black ones in stock. That's a large. That one is a medium. So a large would be if your hair is about this length. A medium you would buy if your hair is comes to like the tops of your shoulders. And I wear a small, and that's for if your hair is sort of this length, sort of jaw length, or if you've got longer hair and it's very fine. I've got really fine hair, so even though my hair now comes to about here, I'm growing out a crop, and it's curly, it doesn't pad out a medium properly. So I think like a baggy snood can look a bit sad, can't it? A bit sort of deflated. So that's why I do them in different sizes, and it works for me, and it seems to work well for other people too. So that's marvellous, isn't it? Right, stop saying that's quite annoying, isn't it? I'm going to intersperse what I've made. That's it for shop stuff. Oh, apart from, it's really annoying things happened. In case you didn't know, Royal Mail have suffered a cyber attack, which is temporarily stopping them from doing export posts. So I'm based in the UK. Huge amount of my customers are in America and Australia and France, and you name it. People live in other places in the world and they also have money to spend, but they can't spend it with me because I can't post anything to them. So annoying. But hopefully it'll all get sorted out soon, but for the moment I'm just domestic post only. I've had a couple of customers get in contact with me from America and asking if that's like a business decision I've made. So I don't think Royal Mail are advertising it very well outside the UK. I sell through Etsy, and Etsy has suspended selling international postage labels too, and that's where I buy my postage. And a friend of mine said she went into the local post office to post something to America and they refused to take it. So yeah, international post suspended for the time being. Really hope that gets back online again soon, because that's pretty much going to wipe out all my sales. This is very sad news. Anyway, there's nothing I can do about it, so we'll just have to move on from that, and we'll talk about something a bit more jolly. Now, in December, like I last saw you in November, in December I only read Christmas books. I just want those sort of cosy, jolly little silly light books that just just make you happy. And I don't apologise for that. I know some people look down their nose on books that they see as sort of fluffy, but I read purely for enjoyment. So that was my first Christmas read. It's called Angels at Christmas by Debbie Macomber. Now Debbie Macomber writes those the Shop on Blossom Street books, which are about a woman who opens a knitting shop, and those stories are all about the people that go to knitting classes and knit nights and stuff, and about her life and her long-term flirtation with the DHL guy. This isn't one of those. This is about apparently this is a theme that she returns to, which is about these angels that are sent to Earth to fix people's romantic and personal problems. And it was fun. It's actually two separate stories in here, so it's more like one short novel and one short story, but very enjoyable. I love Debbie Macomber. I prefer the Blossom Street books, but that certainly hit the mark for Christmas reads, so I was pleased with that. I might whiz through. Should I whiz through all the books? Maybe not. No, maybe I won't. I'll come back to it because I've got another three to get through, and then after this it won't be like this, because I'm gonna aim to record at least once a month. I might even do twice a month. If I actually finish something, I'm gonna be overexcited and come and tell you about it. Now, oh, I've lied. I do have more shop things. This is a custom order for someone. People can request that I make things in colours that I don't have in stock. I do 35 colours of snoods, but there are only so many hours in the day, and each one takes me at least an hour and a half to make. So I can't get them all in every colour, in every size in stock at one time. It's impossible. Just keeping the black ones in stock in each size is something I struggle to do. So one of my customers who's UK based, thank goodness, she wants a bright yellow one, so I just have to do the there's a bit of sewing and finishing to do on that one. And she also wants this one, which is called, this colour is called Old School Tie, because it just makes me think of, like, school uniforms, posh school uniforms. I didn't think I had any of this left. I thought I'd completely run out of it, because this is actually vintage yarn. Where I used to live, there was a machine knitting group which would allow in people like me who only do things by hand. And they used to have quite often, where someone had passed away, the family would get in contact and say, they've got loads of yarn, can we donate it to you, to your group? So then every now and then they'd have a big table set up, but would have tons of like cones of machine knitting yarn, which is exactly the weight and quantity I need for my shop, and it would be at knockdown prices. So you might get 500 grams for, you know, a few pounds. I mean, some of it was too fine for what I need it for, but quite often I would find like something that was just absolutely perfect, and I loved this, so I bought this one, and this I think is the absolute last I have of it. And because it's vintage yarn, I've no idea where it came from, other than someone who used to live local to where I used to live, and I can't buy any more, and it's a really popular colour, and I really enjoy making it. I really like these sort of variegated colours. I'm always on the lookout for a black and white mix. Can't find one anywhere, and oh, they're so annoying. I saw that woollynet.com had a sale recently of like their sort of like odds and ends, I think things that they've been trying out, and they had a black and white one, and it had already sold out by the time I found out about it. So this is my project for today, is to finish that bright yellow and this old school tie, take photos of them, send them to the customer to see if she likes them. Hopefully she will, because she already knows these colours, and then get those listed, and then she can, you know, she can take up to 3 months to pay for them if she wants. I don't mind, the listing will sit there quite happily, and I don't put any pressure on people to buy things within a set time frame. I mean, there's no rush in the world for a snood, is there? I can't imagine anyone ever having a snood emergency. Although, I do sometimes make things for theatre productions, and I made some snoods for when Follies was on at the National Theatre. I made some snoods for them, some gold ones, some sparkly gold ones. They're amazing, if I say so myself. And then that production either toured or closed, and then they revisited it. They brought it back on again a couple of years later, but they'd lost the snoods, so I had to like quickly run up some more for them. So, but I mean, I'm delighted. My snoods have been high kicking on the stage in the West End, so I'm quite happy to make as many of those as you want. So yeah, that's it for snoodage and shop talk. Done. So I've got a year-long project. I always have a year-long project, and usually it's something to do with my Etsy shop. Like last year it was making gin poodles, and I haven't brought one upstairs with me again. Oh, I'm such a donut. Honestly, I can show you one on my phone, but it's not really the same, because I have to show you the way you look at Etsy as a seller and the way you look at it as a buyer, as a customer rather, is different. Different thing entirely. So that's the head of a gin poodle, and that's what they look like, head to toe. And you take they're basically, it's a bottle cozy, and you take the head off to hide your gin, so that you don't need to share it with people when they come round. You put the good stuff under the poodle, and you leave out the I was going to say a brand name, but I won't. I'm going to just say the bog standard available in any supermarket gin. Or no, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it. Stuff you're willing to share can go on display, and you can offer that to people. The really good stuff, put in a little cozy, and it's also kind of, you know, it's really sort of retro, fun, 70s kind of, 60s, 70s kind of decor. And anyway, they're a good thing as well. If you're going to a friend's house and you have to take a present, and you've just got like a bottle of wine or something, you can't just, sometimes it's just awkward to just hand over a bottle of wine. You feel like that's a bit of a nothing-y present, but then you put a gin poodle on it, and even if they hate it, it's a funny thing. So you've kind of made something more of, and they're not expensive. Just zhuzhes it up a bit. Right, this is my year-long project this year, because I made a poodle a month every month last year, and I'm all poodled out. I don't really want to do another 12 poodles. So what I'm doing is a temperature scarf. I was going to do the blanket, but then I realised there's quite a lot of knitting. I did originally cast on a much wider sort of schlanket size affair, But it was that again, it was an awful lot of knitting, and I thought to do it every single day, it's not going to take long before that gets on my wick. So I know people choose up to like 20 colours sometimes, I think, for temperature blankets and shawls and things, but I didn't want that many colours, so I have gone for just 9. Here they are. This is always blowing out a little bit. There we go. Let's lean in, girls, lean in. That's like a cream colour, and that's for the coldest days, like sort of minus temperatures. That's my 0 to 5 for sort of slushy snow. Or is it? No, sorry, that's 0 to 5. That's icy blue. It's a bit nippy out. That is the next. I can't remember which. They all go up by about 5. So the next colour is slushy grey for, you know, slushy snow. Then it's the green for it's warming up a bit. Things are getting a bit perkier. This is my lovely bright sunshiny days. This is my blimey, you could almost be on holiday. This is crikey, it's hot. I wish there was a pool. This is, I think this is getting a bit out of hand. I don't really like it. I'm staying indoors. Why don't we have air conditioning? And this is, oh, this is just ridiculous. This is not what this country is supposed to be about. So hopefully you'll barely see that one, because I'm more of a cold weather person, and maybe I don't want to see too much of that one. I just want to stay at this end with a little bit of this, but only on days when I'm not at work. Oh no, don't mind, because my office at work, I work part-time in an office. It's very boring. I'm not going to bang on about it. We've got aircon, so if it's hot, don't mind being there. I mean, I don't mind being there generally, but you know, I do kind of feel with work, unless it's like a job you really, really love, you know, let's be honest, I'd rather be at home having cups of tea with my cat. Anyway, I've wandered off a bit there. Yes, this is mine. I'm really happy with it. So, because I've not chosen very many colours, mine's not going to be too leery. So this is January. I haven't done today's yet, and today's temperatures are, let's have a quick look. Low of 3, high of 8. So I'm gonna have another one of this icy blue, I think, and then 8 is the slushy grey. So that'll be another, you know, like the bottom half of this bit, that little section. So far I think those colours are working out really well, and I think even if you randomly had imagine you had like the bright pink or blue or even the yellow now, it wouldn't be too jarring, would it? Because I didn't want it to be too like crazy. And the pattern I'm using, I was using, there's a really good free pattern on Ravelry called Jagged Stripes, where you have like a long straight section and then a little bit of the little zigzags, but it was too wide really for what I wanted, and I thought I just really like the zigzaggy bit, because like my partner thought that couldn't understand the straight and the zigzag. He thought that the zigzags must represent something, some sort of like peaks and troughs of the weather during the day, and I got bored with explaining it. It didn't mean anything, it was just pretty. And then I thought, well, actually I just really like what I really like are the stripes, the zigzag stripes. And I made this is so old, this is years old, a Zick Zack scarf. Long time ago. And it's just a pleasing thing to do. And it's so easy just to, you know, it's just a casting off and casting on, you know, doing you know, a knit front and back and a knit two together for the down, and add in a stitch for the up. Couldn't be simpler really, could it? So you'll be seeing that a lot, you'll be seeing that every month, and I just think it'd be interesting to see what how it goes, how the colours, you know, play in and out. This was just 2 different variegated yarns that I just alternated. So I love that, and I wear that a lot because it's as well. It's that is it mil calori? I don't know how to pronounce it, but you're supposed to use like a whole ball of each to do it, which is fine, and which is what I did. But it gave you quite a short scarf, so it doesn't really wrap around my neck. The only thing I don't like, look, I don't like that start. You just got this one random bright bit. So I tend to wear it under a coat, just like that. So it's almost a bit like a dicky or a tippet. But I think that looks really nice, especially because I've got a navy blue coat, and just that little flash of colour, and you can just pop it up under your, you know, right up your neck like that. So this one is obviously going to be a lot longer. It's a DK yarn I'm using as well. It's, who's it by? Oh, it's Adrafil. Is that how you say it? Whatevs. And it's 55% wool and 45% acrylic. Just for I just think scarves around your neck need washing more often. And also, I didn't want to spend a fortune on it. I was going to stash dive for it. But then I saw a yarn shop open in Havant. My Yarnery was open when I was there, and I just got sucked in. And it's a lovely, such a nice shop. It's like a really cute, it's like off the main road. You sort of have to go like behind the main road, and it's like this little 1-story building. It's super cute, and you go in there and it's like walking into a knitter's sweet shop. It's just all colours and all different yarns, and it's all different prices, and the woman that runs it's really nice, and it's just a box of treats in there. So I didn't spend very much on that. I think I spent about 20 odd. It was under £30, so I've got quite a lot of yarn there. I don't think I'm going to run out of any of the colours at this stage, but apart from the grey, I feel like the grey might be a bit of a problem, but that's not going to be hard to replace that. I can go back in there and just pick up the odd ball here and there, and even if I don't get something that's an absolute match, it doesn't really matter in that type of scarf, because I mean, who's going to come up to you and say that shade of grey is not quite the same as, I mean, no one's going to do that, and if they did, I think I could bat them away quite easily. Let's go back to books. The second Christmas book I read, it's a chunky old thing, so I actually only read 2 Christmas books this December, which is very slack for me, because I was finishing another book, and I can't remember what that was, but that was a chunky old thing as well, so it took me so long to finish that one that I was late starting my Christmas books. So I only got 2 done, and I'm a little bit disappointed with that. So this was my second one. This is very much what I would call a mother-in-law book. This is actually literally a book that was passed me by my mother-in-law, and it's a bit, I mean, it was okay. It's not really Christmassy. I mean, it ends at Christmas, and that's pretty much, and you know, the cover's got some snow on it, and that, I mean, it's a very tenuous link. It's called Rag and Bone Christmas, and it's a little bit miserable for me. It's you know, it's all poverty in sort of Victorian-ish London, where I don't think that actually ever tells you exactly what period it's in. It's just that, you know, it's given that kind of wrapping a shawl around your shoulders and having a horse and cart kind of feel, so you kind of get the idea it's that sort of period. Yeah, it's a little bit too so down all the time, and like, everyone's having like a terrible time, and everything's quite bleak. So yeah, not really my cup of tea. I know my sister really likes Dilly as well. That's the author, but she's read this one, so that's off to the charity shop. Or there's a knitting group I go to on Tuesday afternoons. I say knitting group, it's a mixed crafts group. It's just a crafts get together group, and it's the best group I've ever been to. It's really good because it's like a really mixed ages, and loads of different crafts go. So it's not all just, you know, people knitting and crocheting. So you get to have a there's someone who actually brings her lace making. She has like the whole frame and the huge cushion, and she makes these beautiful things, and it's fascinating because that's not something I'm ever going to do, but I like seeing it done. So, but they have, just on the entranceway, there's like one of those bookshare shelves where you can just leave some books and you can put some cash in for charity, and take one if you want. But I sometimes, if there's a book that I can't pass on to anyone, and sometimes my books are a bit on the raggedy side, because when I buy a book I don't read it straight away, it just goes on the shelves, and then when I feel like reading it, I'll read it. So, and sometimes they're books that have been passed around lots of people, so I know a lot of the charity shops will only take books now that look virtually new, so these will go on bookshare shelves rather than to charity shops, because I think they'll just end up in the bin if they go to a charity shop. So the last book, I'm not going to tell you the next book, because it's a book I've got 2 books that I'm reading at the moment, but I'm going to talk to you about them when I've finished them, I think, because otherwise we're getting a bit book heavy, and I've only got one thing to show you that I'm working on at the moment. So this is, I used to do a lot of this book crossing, you know, like you put like a sticker in a book with like it's got like a reference number in there, that lets you leave like a little note, so the next person that picks up this book goes to the book crossing website and they enter that little code, and then they can leave a note to say where they found the book, what they thought of it, what have you. And you're supposed to really, in theory, you're supposed to be able to track this book through all its different owners throughout its lifetime until it ends up getting pulped. But it doesn't really work because people generally don't do it. I mean, occasionally you'll hear from a book that you left somewhere, you gave away like 8 years ago, and you'll get a little journal message about it, but I don't really do it anymore because it's just so disappointing. You spend all this time like registering books, putting the stickers in them, filling out the stickers, leaving them somewhere, and then you never hear from them again. I just feel a little bit kind of, oh, what's the point? I mean, I might do occasionally, but it's unlikely. This is 30 Nothing by Lisa Jewell. It's a sort of will they won't they romance. It's quite good. I enjoyed it, zipped through it, really easy read, perfect grey day, pick me up kind of book. It would be a really good holiday read. I mean, some of the things that happen here are just ridiculously stupid, but it's good fun. I think this is the same Lisa Jewell that now writes more like sort of thriller, mystery kind of things. Didn't she do The Family Upstairs? I think it's the same person. I've not read any of her other books. I might give The Family Upstairs a go, because it'd be interesting to see how she's changed from writing these sort of books. There's another one called Ralph's Party that looks like it'd be very much in the same vein that I haven't read. I can't say I could be bothered searching that out, but yeah, she's a good writer. It was interesting enough, but it's quite funny as well. Quite a lot of stuff about sort of 90s London, I guess, which, I mean, I lived in London for about 20 years, and so that kind of resonates with me. But it's just like a feel-good, fun read for a grey day. So I am going to go now to my current project. This is one of those things that's, do you like this bag? I made it. I'm not going to hide my light under a bushel. I'm really happy with this bag. I think I did a cracking job with that, and I made some for my Etsy shop, and I think there's a couple still left in there for sale. But yeah, it's called, I think, Bright Cats, because look, they're cats and they're bright. I went to a workshop at a local yarn, well, it's a mixed craft shop called Seeded down in Southampton, which is a really lovely shop. It's another lovely shop. My Yarnery is yarn, and Seeded does yarns and lots of yarns, but also dressmaking fabrics and crochet accessories, and some things that have been made by local makers. She's got these oh, I can't remember, they're something about mogs, and they're very sort of 60s style stuffed like cat ornaments, and they're really nice, but they never have any prices on them, and I always want one. But I hate that. Well, you know when you go to shopping, you have to say like, and how much is that one, and how much is that one, and then how much is that one, and I just can't be bothered with it, so I've never actually bought one. But hopefully one day they'll put a little display out saying how much they are. Well, I went to a workshop there ages ago, last summer sometime, to do this kite shawl workshop, and I think the tutor kind of assumes that anyone on the course, there were only 3 of us, so it was really nice, and they gave Alexis, who owns a shop, we had unlimited tea and coffee, and really lovely thick chunky biscuits. And she does this really cool thing. The yarn is in the price of the workshop, and it wasn't expensive, the workshop, and she just puts like a ton of yarn in the middle, all different brands and price points, so you just needed 2 colours and you could choose whatever you wanted. So I chose 2 balls of, this is I think a Sirdar, is it Shawlie? Sirdar Shawlie, I think that's what it's called. Oh, I've lost my button ball bands. Oh, I could have sworn I'd kept those in there. Yeah, I did. See? Better than you think. Yeah. Sirdar Shawlie. I like this stuff. I mean, they look a bit sad now because I've nearly finished them. And you stripe it. It's just 2 rows in garter, mainly, of each colour. And it's a kite-shaped shawl. Not difficult. Nice and simple to do. I'm not really following the pattern anymore. There were bits in the pattern I didn't really like, and I think the tutor assumed that we were all beginner knitters because it was a sort of you know, like a easy to do shawl, and like a sort of introduction really to sort of shaping, shawl shaping and stuff. So I kind of mainly kept stum about my abilities because I just like being in a room with other makers, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna mention the tutor's name because she was I've seen the other 2 women who were on the course, on the workshop since then, and we all agreed she was great in the morning, full of energy, really positive and very good at explaining how to do things. But in the afternoon she lapsed into, I don't know if she got tired or if that was really her true personality coming out, but she became homophobic and bitter, and basically spent the whole afternoon saying really unpleasant things about every other knitting designer who had any success. And I felt like it was sour grapes. It's okay, you have some success of your own, that's fantastic. Other people having success, it's just something you have to deal with in life. You know, you're not always going to be the most successful person, and someone else's success doesn't diminish your success. But yeah, I wasn't there for that, so I'm not going to mention their name, and I certainly won't be attending any more workshops with that person. But I did still enjoy the day because I spent it with other crafters. Now this, see, I chose this blue and yellow because we were at Southsea, which is on the coast, and I wanted it to be like the sea and the sand, and the way that they change colours through the day with a, you know, with the light. And I think that's worked. I mean, the tutor said that she thought really I should have had one starting from the darkest and the other one starting from the lightest to make a bigger contrast, but that wasn't really the look that I was going for at all. I get what she means, but it wasn't what I wanted. So it goes from this very pale, quite bright and breezy, through to like quite dark, it almost goes into brown. And look, that would be like your nighttime there. It's really nice. I've just got a bit of a thing about squishy garter. And there's eyelet rows, and there are some like textured bits in the pattern, but they didn't work brilliantly well. Like some slip stitch section here, and there's like a 3x3 rib section here, but I didn't feel that they worked as well as just purely the yarn overs. So when I got to 140 something, 147 stitches, I've just carried on straight, so that when I get down to, I think I've got about 50 grams in total left now, and I think when I get down to about 20, then I'm going to do the decreases to finish it, and then that means this side will be made smaller, 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 smaller as you go along by one stitch until you get to the centre double decrease, and then when you get to that point you just cast off these stitches. So I think it'll be wearable. I think if I followed the pattern exactly and cast off at the point where the pattern said to cast off, it would only be about that long, which is a bit wimpy, isn't it? But I like a really nice big snuggle right up thing. God, it's going to be so nice, isn't it? I don't think yellow's really my colour, but I'll cope. So yeah, I am hoping to finish that fairly soon, because I want to make the round round get around shawl by CC, oh, I've forgotten her name. I'll show it to you when I cast it on. But that's got a slip stitch pattern, and you do it in 2 colours, or you can do it with one solid colour. And then if you think of, like, say, like the Stephen West Honeycombs patterns, it's that kind of feel. So you can have one solid colour and you can just use scraps for the background colour. So I think that might be nice. I've also got an awful lot of other whips on the go that I really should be getting on with, but I've got a strong urge to cast stuff on, so I'm going to cast stuff on. I also want to do some more embroidery this year. I've not really done enough embroidery last year, and as the days are getting a bit lighter again now, I only do handwork, and I like quite fine handwork, so I need the light, really. Sorry, my phone's dinging. Oh, because I didn't put it on silent because I'm a div like that. Din, they say here. It's not a word I've heard anywhere else. If you're being a bit stupid, you're a din or a dinny. And they also say, because we moved here in lockdown, so we're not really locals, and because we were here in lockdown, I was working from home full time, didn't meet anyone. So now that I'm working in an office locally, I work for the NHS just as an administrator, I'm picking up the odd word here and there. They also say what a name for, you know, people or things that you don't know the names of. What a name, not what's her name or what's it called. What a name. I've never heard that before anywhere either. So yeah, I'm trying to get my ear in with the accent, which I don't always get, so that's quite funny in the office sometimes. I'm quite often mishearing what people say to me. But yeah, apart from that, well, I'm not saying apart from that, all going well here, and I look forward to doing a bit more sewing, a bit more podcasting, and not being quite so book heavy next time. I'm also a member of Digital Readers Book Club, the Hampshire Digital Readers Book Club. So I'm listening, I always listen to an audiobook as well, and this month's book is an absolute hound. Terrible, really terrible, and really long. It's like 16 hours long. I don't know how I'm getting through it. It's just, even thinking about it's giving me the ump. So I think that means it's definitely time to go make myself a nice big bowl of soup and cast on something new. Definitely. That's what I'm doing. Oh, other half's birthday tomorrow. Got the day off work. We're going to go out and just stuff our faces all day long, pretty much. Asked him what he fancies doing, and it all seems to revolve around going to places where we can stuff our faces. So that's going to be fantastic. So I shall see you again soon. Don't think it'll be next weekend. It will be some weekend sometime soon. I hope you're having a great time, and that this new year is treating you well, and that you've got lots of lovely things planned. Please leave me a little comment or something underneath A little bit of interaction would be lovely, but whatever. See you soon.